Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
All right, how y'all doing? Happy Wednesday again. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad to be back like I do every single week. I hope y'all been good. I hope the week has been good to y'all. It has been great to me. I don't really have too many complaints. I will, start it off like every other week. My week has been fun. My birthday was Monday, so shout out to that. Happy belated birthday to me. Happy birthday to me and my youngest son, Junior. We both had our birthday this weekend. We did a little pool party together. He was turning 3. I turned 34. I know it's hard to believe that I'm 34. Time is just kind of it's getting there. It's getting there, not in a bad way. But it was a great thing. We had a pool party Saturday. Him, his siblings, cousins, everybody came over. And man, I tell you, the entire weekend he had a blast. That was my main concern. Was this weekend was taking care of him, get him out the way first, make sure he has a good time, make sure he enjoys himself. And then now this weekend coming up, I'm probably going to take that to myself, and actually do something and just kind of maybe just get some relaxation, if anything. I'm going to figure it out, though, but I'm going to do something for me. But overall, it was great. Everybody showed up and supported. Shout out to the family and friends that came in and showed up. I know it wasn't a big announcement to a lot of people, and most people, it was word of mouth to them until the day of. I just put up a flyer to remind y'all. But it was just more so of like it was just a more intimate gathering with family and close friends, in a way, if I should say, for the birthday party. But it was nice. It was, we all enjoyed ourselves. I had to, I'm always the chef. Shout out to my mom. She helped me cook a couple things, but always know that the food was busting. Food was nice. It was a great time, great food. Nothing was left, of course, right? I barely had to put a plate up for me, but it worked out. It worked out. But other than that, it was a great week, really. Again, nothing really to be too concerned about. Nothing bad. Oh, I did go see Scary Movie, when it came out. We went to the, as a coworker, my coworkers, we all went on the Thursday showing. And it was pretty fun, man. We all went and had fun. It was a good time. A lot of y'all are really, I think y'all don't like the movie, but I'm telling y'all now that the movie was exactly what it was supposed to be. A parody. Something stupid and funny. That's exactly what it was supposed to be. Something hilarious, something for you to laugh at. Them just talking about all the other horror films and or themselves in this case on that one. But I mean, I don't know why y'all thought y'all was gonna go see it and it was actually a scary movie. I'm assuming it was probably the younger crowd with that thought process. But all of us that grew up with it, we kind of knew what to expect. And honestly, to me personally, I think they did a good job. I don't really have any complaints about the movie. I think they did what they had to do with it. They kind of were offensively funny, and just, made another scary movie. So I'm excited to see if they do anything else. I really hope they do a White Chicks too. That's going to be great if they do that. But if not, so be it. If they don't, they don't. But I mean, yeah, other than that, the week was pretty great. I really enjoyed myself. I'm telling you now, like everybody's been treating me well. Monday, if you follow me on social media, you probably saw it, but Monday I went around getting anything that was a birthday reward that I could. My son, my children, all my children actually, but my son, he was showing how he was like ready to go home. He was tired of being in the car, but I wanted all my freebies. At least the ones I had to get the day of. I made sure I got them. I took care of that for sure, for sure. But now, I still got a few more to catch up on because I ain't done. Some chicken, some cakes, yeah, they gave me about a week or a month, and I'm gonna get all of that. I'm gonna eat good. But I didn't really have to spend no money for the food that day. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. But one thing that brought today's topic, kind of from last week and this week together, was the fact that fatherhood, like we keep talking about fatherhood, me and my group of people, or if I'm at work or whatever the case may be, but typically we have a lot of conversations about fatherhood. And it's nice to see now a lot of people can acknowledge the fact that, fatherhood is not what it used to be, you got a lot more fathers stepping to the plate, doing their thing. Like if y'all did, I will say this in and out every day. We are the fathers of this generation have the best numbers to date in history to ever be, basically. Nobody has stepped up like we have. And I'm just glad to shout out to all my other fathers out there. Shout out to y'all, man, for showing these numbers just keep going up instead of declining. And doing what y'all gotta do for them babies, man. That's all we're here for, is taking care of them kids. You know what I mean? Whether you got one or multiple, we're here to take care of them kids, regardless. Okay. Part of it was, we also talked about, they always say, why do I go so hard for my children? Like when it go like birthdays and things of that nature. I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have the father around to do all of that cool stuff with me to have fun with and have birthday parties and be the fun parent. Mom always had to work and make sure the house was good. So I never really had that growing up. And I think part of that plays into the role, or if not all of it actually plays into the role of me being a father, because I refuse to let my children go through what I went through growing up with that situation, and I got a little segment about that before I get into the main topic of it all, the power of a present father. I kind of want to talk about the wound I didn't know I had, right? Again, going through therapy and everything, it kind of teaches you about yourself without even realizing you knew it already. You just had you need somebody to point it out. You got to acknowledge it sometimes. Again, I just want to take a moment to get a little personal, right? Get a little personal here, because whenever I talk about fatherhood, I'm not speaking from a place of perfection. I want to say that first and foremost. It's never me trying to speak from a place of perfection. That's just a place of experience of what I want to speak from, okay? Again, I didn't grow up with a father, right? I didn't grow up with my father. And for a long time, I convinced myself that it didn't affect me. Like I really told myself that I was fine, and I survived. I figured it out. I became a man at the end of the day without him, right? And at least that's what I thought. At least that was my ideal with it, was just a point to be proven that I was a better father than he was. But then the truth is, some wounds don't bleed where people can see them, honestly. Some wounds show up in your decisions. They show up in your relationships. They sometimes show up in your self-worth. And some wounds show up in the way you handle conflict, love, rejection, or even success, okay? I spent years dealing with trauma I didn't even know I had, because I had normalized it. I had made it seem like it was supposed to be that way, okay? How can you miss something you've never experienced? How can you recognize a void when it's been there your entire life? As a boy, I didn't necessarily wake up every day saying, I need my father. But I did grow up asking questions I didn't even realize were connected to his absence, right? Questions like, am I good enough? Why wasn't I worth staying for? Or what does being a man even look like? Or who do I become when I don't have an example to follow, right? And here's the thing with that. Here's the thing. Those questions don't always come out as sadness. Sometimes they come out as anger. Sometimes they come out as trust issues. Sometimes they come out as overcompensating. Sometimes they come out as trying to prove yourself to everybody around you, right? And again, I'm just speaking from personal experience. I didn't realize that some of the battles I was fighting as a man started as unanswered questions from a little boy. I didn't realize that. That's why fathers matter. That's why we are so important, right? Not because mothers aren't amazing, not because fathers are superheroes, but because there are certain things a son needs from a father that nobody else can fully replace. Okay. A father can look at a boy and say, you're going to be okay. A father can teach a boy how to channel his anger instead of being controlled by it. A father can show a boy what discipline looks like, what accountability looks like, and what integrity looks like. And when that example is missing, many boys spend years trying to build an identity without a blueprint. Custom built, if you must say. Because I know I did. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. The beautiful thing, though, is that healing is possible, right? You can grow, you can learn, you can become a man, or the man, I should say, you never had. Because, man, I look in the mirror every day when I feel down about myself, and I'll be like, them kids, I became the father I needed growing up. And I do that for my children. And I'm glad that they appreciate it. They love it. They are very happy, and I would never take that away from them. There's nothing they can do to make me take away that from them. Again, that's probably why, fatherhood means so much to me today. That's probably the whole reason why it means so much to me today. Because every time I show up for my sons, my daughters, every time I have conversations with them, every time I teach them, hug them, encourage them, or simply just sit and listen to them, I'm giving them something I wish I had. I'm kind of healing some trauma that I was going through as a kid that I needed in a way, right? Not because I'm trying to be a perfect father, but because I know firsthand what it feels like to grow up without one. And if you're a father listening right now, understand this. You may think your presence isn't a big deal, but it is. You may think your son doesn't notice, but he does. You may think he'll be fine without you, and maybe he will, but he'll be better with you. Because boys don't just need providers. They need examples, guidance, and presence, okay? Sometimes the greatest gift a father can give his son isn't money, advice, or even protection. Sometimes it's simply being there. Because a father's presence can answer questions a son doesn't even know he's asking, didn't even know he would have to think about. I'm just being honest. And that's from, me growing up. I didn't have none of that. And I would never do that to my kids. I just can't. I see how detrimental it is for me to be around, or how important it is for me to be there for them in their growth, in their life. So I have to be there for them. You know what I mean? Again, now I just kind of want to talk about the power of a present father, because we know there are many out there. Okay, we know there are plenty out there, and we know that, yes, it's not worldwide, but it's gaining traction. People are starting to notice. People are starting to see, because if we keep showing up, then we get to keep showing out. We do. Again, today, I just want to talk about fatherhood. And before y'all get on here with all of that, I'm not talking about baby daddies. I don't want to talk about child support. I don't want to talk about social media fathers, not the Father's Day once a year. We're talking about fathers, okay? Actual fathers that are there and present, okay? The men who show up, the men who stay, the men who sacrifice, the men who lead, the men who teach, the men who protect, okay? That's who we're talking about today. Now, before we even get started, let me make something crystal clear. Today's show is not about attacking mothers. I don't ever want to attack anybody or seem like I'm attacking anyone. This isn't a competition. This isn't men versus women. This isn't fathers versus mothers. Children need healthy parents, not parents, plural, okay? Healthy mothers, healthy fathers, healthy adults. That's what they need. That's what they require. The goal today isn't to diminish the role of mothers. The goal is to highlight a role society often overlooks: the role of fathers. Because somewhere along the way, we started treating fathers as optional. I hate that. We started treating them as optional, as if dad was just extra credit on an assignment, or if he was a bonus feature on a movie disc or something, or if he was a freaking, or if dad was only necessary when it was time to pay a bill, if he was just a paycheck. But research, as we know, it says otherwise. Research says so much more. It says life says otherwise. And many of us sitting here today can say from personal experience, if I must say, that dad mattered, right? Okay. whether he was there or whether he wasn't, because even the father's absence leaves a footprint, right? Um, I make this as a joke, but I say as a Gemini father, it's basically two parents in one. The problem is sometimes they don't agree with each other. I'm gonna be serious, but let me start here. Um, Most people immediately think about money or finances when it comes to a father, or they think about bills, rent, food, providing. And yes, providing financially is important. We know that already. But fatherhood is bigger than just money. Okay. Money pays the bills. Yes, it does. But presence shapes people, it shapes the reality of the kids around and everyone around for you. Um, a father provides identity, right? We know that much. Direction, security, confidence, right? Protection. Actually, let me talk about these for a second. I'm not even just gonna run through them like that because I think they deserve a little more talking about when it comes to that. Because I'm telling you here now, I think it's more than just to it like that. Like for example, when they say a father provides identity, um, I think a lot of kids that don't have those two parent households, they kind of question themselves on, what do you want to say, what the right path is. They kind of question themselves on where they should go in life and who they should really be, right? Um, because I won't lie, a lot of my questions as a youth growing up was that, like, dang, what should I do? I felt like because the ball was always the right choice, I wanted to go with the books. I didn't want to rely on the ball for my future. I figured if I had the books, either way I go, I would be able to make something out of myself. You know what I mean? And I think I looked at that a negative way altogether, even with saying it like that, because I think what I could have looked at it with it is, hey, maybe I could use a ball to get somewhere, but if that don't work out, then I always got my books to make sure I'm okay too, right? A positive outlook on it first instead. But I was outweighing the good or bad instead of there's a good outlook to both of these if you put it in the right way. But my identity growing up was more so of like, who am I going to be? Am I going to be this smart guy, brilliant dude that just wants to go to school and learn and do this? Do I want to be a thug like everybody else and fall into the stereotypes? I want to be a mix of both. Do I want to be a person that loves women and treats them correctly, or a man that abuses? It was so much about me that I kind of questioned, and it was like, I won't lie. I feel like as a father now, watching me, right, watching me be a father to my kids, I feel like, yeah, some of those questions kind of answer themselves growing up, because my father would have probably been there to say, hey, why not do both? Why not do it all? See what you can do. Shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars, shoot for the sky. Just go as far as you can, right? Probably would have gave me more confidence to say, you know what, I could do it all. I could do it both. I can go be a basketball player and get my degree. I could do all of that, whatever the case may be. Or when they talk about the direction, well, same thing, in which direction to go. But the confidence is what I want to talk about. That part is what I really want to talk about in it, is that growing up, man, I had really low confidence in myself, like very, very low confidence in myself. I used to always go around knowing that I was ugly, didn't care if people talk to you. Yeah, I'm ugly. I don't care. You don't care. So growing up, when I started getting complimented, I was like, huh, what's that? What's a compliment? I got one of those. Oh, okay. I didn't really know what it was. I wasn't really used to stuff like that. My confidence was super low, where I would, like, look, even to this day, I'm pathologically shy. Like with women, I've never made a first move, and I've never really approached a woman first. I maybe if you want to consider my comedy a way, but I always feel like if I make a joke and somebody comes to me about it, or they hit me up about it, or jump in my DMs, or they come and start talking to me, at that point I got you to come to me. So I didn't really approach you first. I just kind of used my laughter as a way to, make it work. But I've never done none of those things. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it, but um, I think it's because having that low confidence as a kid, right? Growing up, I didn't really feel confident enough to be able to approach a woman and actually say hi to her, try to get her number or anything like that. And I'm not saying that now at this age, I'm probably like I'm obsolete to it. I don't want to do it. I'm pretty sure I have the capabilities of doing it, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that growing up, the reason why I wouldn't is probably because I have that low confidence. And I believe having a father around will be able to give me that confidence, because I watch my kids all the time and I just got to remind them, like, my girls, how beautiful they are. My son, oh, you're very handsome. Let them know that I have they back with that. Don't make yourself feel like less than you are because you may be having a bad time or a bad moment or a bad day. Like, understand that we all go through stuff, but that don't take away from the fact that, still feel great about yourself. My favorite thing to say to my kids is, have the confidence of a lion, right? Biggest heart, confidence of a lion. That's what you got to have. Go for it. You'll never know what you can accomplish until you try to actually do it. And I just love that I say that and I see them take that and incorporate it into whatever it is. Terrence, for example, he started saying how he wanted to be Michael Jackson. I said, hey, look, if you start dancing more, doing more about it, learn to sing and stuff, maybe you can be Michael Jackson. A week later, the man was in the moonwalk like he invented it himself. Like, I put that confidence in him to instill in him, let him know you can be and do whatever you want to do. And I didn't have that growing up as a kid. So I think that is very important for a father to be able to teach a kid or a child, because confidence, as we know, it also brings up different details in our life. Different decisions we choose to make will go off for our confidence, right? I mean, let's just be honest. I made a lot of decisions based on my confidence alone, so I won't say that. Another one, like protection. We already know what we don't mean just to protect you from getting hurt. I mean mentally and physically protecting you. Again, I'm not ashamed to admit this. I felt like that. Well, we felt like, sorry, I want to take that back. We as parents felt like we have caused some trauma to our children. So because we felt like we couldn't fix that trauma we caused for them, we put them in therapy. That's protection. We protecting them. We're protecting their mental health to make sure they get it right. It doesn't always have to look like a physical thing where you just, like, there's more than one thing to it. Okay. So wisdom. Hey, I can tell you how each thing is going to go, but I'm going to leave it up to you to make that decision. I'm going to give you the advice and let you play off of it yourself. I can tell you all day long what you should do, don't mean you will. Or I can tell you how things will play out and let you make your own choice and decision based on what you want to do. Simple as that. Knowing that you're my children, you're going to outweigh the pros and the cons and go with the better option for you. Sometimes sacrificing means you don't get exactly what you want, but you get what you need. Hey, it is what it is. Or just accountability, like, I like that I can teach my kids this at a young age, because I won't lie, I had a real big problem with taking accountability in life. It was a very big thing for me because I always felt like I had to justify my actions. And honestly, sometimes it's not about your justifications. It's just about acknowledging that something went wrong or you did something you shouldn't, and knowing that you will not do that again, or you'll acknowledge the actual effort from it. So that's kind of where I had to go with from it. So my kids growing up, I teach them, like, for example, now if Terrence does something to Kalila, he can actually be aware of that and be like, hey, I'm sorry, or I apologize. I didn't mean to do that, instead of just shrugging it off like, oh, you just crying for no reason, whatever the case may be. But children learn more from observation than instruction, right? And think about it. Just think about that. Your children are watching how you handle stress, how you handle conflict, how you handle disappointment, how you handle relationships, how you handle anger, how you handle failure. And you can tell your child to be respectful all day long. You can tell them that all day long. But if they watch you disrespect people, guess what lesson they learned? Just take a wild guess. Yeah, you got it. You can tell your child to be responsible, but if they watch irresponsibility, guess what lesson sticks? Right? You're right again, 200, Alex, you got it. Now, children become what they repeatedly witness, okay? And not what they occasionally hear. So a father's greatest sermon isn't spoken, it's lived. It's leading by example. That's why I tell people, as men, we are natural born leaders, natural born problem solvers. So at the end of the day, we're going to want to solve the problem and get to the end of it right away and get it done. Now, sometimes the problem doesn't need to be solved. Sometimes it needs to be heard. Whether that's here nor there, there's more than one way to go about that. Now, let's talk specifically about boys. Again, I'm saying boys because I'm saying this coming from a point of view of a man, of his inner child speaking from a boy of what he wanted and what he needed. Okay. I can only speak from that point of view because I'm not a girl. I'm not a woman. I can't tell you what it's like not having a father as a woman. Right. Again, this is not saying mothers cannot raise sons. Many incredible women have done exactly that. Shout out to my moms. Appreciate her, love her to death. Some had no choice. Some became both mom and dad, and we speak it metaphorically, okay? And they deserve flowers for that, right? But let's also acknowledge reality. I don't want to go around without doing that first and foremost. There are certain lessons boys naturally learn from men differently. A son learns manhood by watching manhood. A son learns how to control his emotions, how to shake someone's hand, how to respond to rejection, how to manage frustration, how to treat women, how to admit when he's wrong, how to stand on principle, how to walk away from trouble, how to handle responsibility. A father isn't simply teaching words, he's modeling behavior. That's what we have to do. That's what it's called a male role model. And boys desperately need examples, not influencers. Man, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for me just being observant, I probably wouldn't be I would probably be in a worse situation than I'm in today. You know, they don't need, not TikTok, not YouTube personalities. They need real life examples. Real life examples, seriously. Someone they can touch, someone they can call, someone they can observe, someone who can say, come here, son, let me show you. It's simple and easy as that. Come here, son, let me show you, okay? And as a father myself, I think about this often. My sons are watching me every single day, okay? Not just when I'm speaking, not just when I'm dressed up, and not when I'm successful. They're watching how I respond when I'm tired, when I'm frustrated, when life isn't going my way, because one day they will become men. And whether I realize it or not, I'm helping write the blueprint right now to what they need to follow. I mean, I'm sure y'all know I realize it because I tread lightly with my kids, and man, it's being a parent is a tough job, but somebody got to do it. It's a tough job, but I love it. I wouldn't trade it for any other one. You know what I mean? Now, one thing that people keep questioning was that should boys spend more time with their fathers as they get older? Now, here's a conversation, again, many people will avoid. And I want to approach it respectfully, okay? Very respectfully. I'm not saying boys belong with fathers. That's not my intention. I'm not saying mothers aren't capable. I'm saying there are seasons in life where a father's influence becomes increasingly important, particularly during adolescence. When boys start asking questions like, what is a man? What are you going to say to answer that? You want to give them the textbook definition? Or when they say, what does masculinity look like? How do I handle attraction? How do I control aggression? How do I navigate peer pressure? How do I develop discipline? How do I become responsible? These are conversations fathers are uniquely positioned to help navigate. Notice it did not say only fathers. It just said fathers are uniquely positioned to help navigate, okay? Not because mothers can't, but because fathers have lived it, right? Sometimes experience teaches what explanation cannot, okay? Like some of us know, some of us are hands-on learners. We can't be told something, you have to show us, all right? A healthy father figure gives a son daily demonstrations of self-control, respect, discipline, leadership, and those demonstrations become life lessons. Okay, they become real good and real big life lessons, especially for the boys. I'm telling you. And I told my son if he wanted to be a man, he had to start acting responsible. He immediately asked if that meant paying bills. And I told him absolutely not. Let's not get crazy. Man, I try to explain to him, like, even though bills are a part of your responsibility, your actions are also a part of your responsibility. You have to basically learn every responsibility without overwhelming yourself, right? Because they're not all going to hit you at one time when it comes to responsibilities. But things like this, yes, bills are a responsibility. Yes. Your siblings, I mean, well, as a man, your family, your loved ones, that's a responsibility. Your job is a responsibility. You have more than just your mental health is a responsibility. Your physicality is a responsibility. Whatever the case may be, but there's more. It's more to it than just paying bills. So I don't want him thinking that just because he's going to pay all the bills, he's a man. Because I could be paying all the bills as a man, but I could be treating my kids bad, treating my spouse bad. I could be doing all of that and be like, yeah, I'm a man. No, you're a bad man, a really bad man. But that's not the blueprint I want to set. So I try to do it in a way of not bringing up the negative things to him, but by showing him the positive side to the questions he may have. Yes, he's aware of the bad sides too, but I don't want him solely focused on the negative to where he forgets there's a positive. I think that can distract him and kind of push back on what I'm trying to do to help him mold himself, right? Or at least that's how I feel. It's all my personal opinion. Now, I want to talk about what the research actually shows. I like to go off of facts so we don't have any invalid arguments, okay? Because if you are trying to argue with facts, it's just illusion. I'm going to just say that. Now, let's talk facts. Children with involved fathers consistently show higher graduation rates, higher confidence, lower crime involvement, lower substance abuse rates, better emotional regulation, stronger academic performance, better long-term relationship outcomes, right? This is why I say it's so important for us to be around as well as fathers. Look at all of the bonuses, the positives we get just from being there. Research has also found that stable single-father households often perform similarly to, and in some areas better than, average outcomes seen across many family structures, like two-parent households. Now, before anybody starts clipping that for social media, I might do it myself, but the whole part, not just that part. Let's understand the lesson. This lesson is not fathers are better than mothers. That is not, nope, we ain't doing that. This lesson is involved parenting works. Structure works. Consistency works. Accountability works. Leadership works. Presence works. The takeaway isn't that mothers are failing. The takeaway is fathers are powerful. And society benefits when fathers are engaged. That's what I want this takeaway to be. That's exactly what I want it to be. As simple as that. It's not a war. We're a team. We're not going against each other. It's us against the world. Not us and the world against each other. That's not the case. No. And before y'all go on, of course, I didn't forget to add in a tad bit about why fathers matter for daughters, because we're going to talk about it all here. When it comes to being a father, and especially when you have a daughter and a son, I have to have such a balance I never knew I had. It's crazy on how I have to get and do things in my household with my kids, because it's a mixed household of boys and girls. Gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, your daughter is watching everything you do. Everything. She's learning, she's observing, and often her first understanding of love comes from you. That's her first understanding of it. You teach her what respect feels like, what safety feels like, what consistency feels like, what healthy boundaries look like, and also what protection feels like, right? Again, I got to say this again. Not through speeches. through behavior. If your daughter watches you keep your word, she learns trust. She learns what that looks like, what it can feel like, what it should be like. If she watches you show respect, she learns respect. If she watches you love responsibly, she learns what healthy love looks like. Okay? A father helps shape the standard, not the destination, the standard. And the reason why that's so important to me is because a lot of men don't think that their children or their daughters are old enough to even know what they are doing or what's going on. But I'm telling you, children are more curious than you would believe. They're smarter than you give them credit for. They are very observant. They pay attention to every little thing and every little detail. And one thing I've learned is that my daughters, especially, they probably pay the most attention to me. My boys may be obsessed with me, but my daughters pay the most attention to me. Okay. And I mean, little things like one time I forgot to open the car door for Kalila, and she was like, Daddy, you don't let me open the car door. I didn't get mad at all. And she had an attitude when she checked me, but I'm glad she held me accountable. I said, You're right, baby. Let me open it. I'm sorry. I apologize. And I opened it right on up. Little things like that. It just lets me know that at least I'm on the right path for my daughters to know what to look for and what to expect from men in this world. Right? I try to let my daughters also know that you're not going to get your way just because you're a woman, just because you're a girl. Sometimes things may not be fair as a woman or as a girl, and it's probably not meant to be fair in that certain situation. But I will say hard work and dedication will get you what you need to get. You know, I try to let them know that with my daughters, it's harder because they're sensitive. They're very sensitive. So with my daughters being so sensitive, I can't just say things so aggressive to them. I have to word it in a way where it's firm, but it's also digestible, right? And I only know that as they get older, because my oldest is only about to be 8, right? 8 isn't really nothing, but I know as they get older, that challenge will be more of it'll go from beginner to more of a intermediate or a veteran status of it, So I'm still learning how to really approach things with my daughters. And to do that, I reach out to their mother and we have the conversation. And there are times where she can give me some information on how to say things or to approach things with my daughters instead of me doing them the other way. I say that to say we're a team. Okay. We act together, right? As a unit. And that line of work with my daughters, I don't want to say I expect her, but I believe and I know in my heart that she's a better parent to the girls as a mother, like I am as a father with the boys. But I say that because she's a woman herself. So I know that there's more information she can give to me or things they may feel more comfortable talking to her about than talking to me about. That's okay. That don't mean that they love me any less than they do their mom. That don't mean that my boys love her any less than they do me. That's not the point. That's not the case. But I do have that communication with my co-parent to make sure we get that done. We make sure we get that resolved. My daughters are very, again, they pay attention to everything. Whether it's, I believe right now, if I was to go out into the streets and just have different women around, my daughters will feel like that's normal to just be around different men all the time because my dad had different girls around all the time. I believe that they will watch everything I do and kind of imitate that in life. I think I am the blueprint to show them what to look for in a man when they get to that point of dating and they do, want that relationship or family or whatever. I think I am the blueprint of what that man will essentially be built around. I think I will essentially be the foundation of what they build around for that man. And I have to show a really good example for that. Otherwise, I will put them in yet another toxic cycle that I wanted to be out of myself. So it's very, very tough with the girls. Like, I love the challenge. because I love being a father, so I expect it, right? I expect it. But I just see that I have to go about things on a completely different, scale, I guess I should say, a different way when it comes to the girls. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with reaching out to their mom to get that assistance. That's what she's there for, to help. We're there to help each other. Um, like my boys, I still reach out to their mom and I go over it with her if I ever have a game plan, but I at least let her know what's going on. But there are some times where I'll just be like, no, I'm sorry, it's not going down like that. And it's not because I feel like she don't have a say so. It's just me as a man. I just probably know that that's just not the way we need to go with it, right? We need to do it this way because they're boys, and that's just how that has to happen, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, that I'm here to help you with that. Um, but my daughters, yeah, man, it's only gonna get tougher from here. And I will continue to do the best I can for them throughout that time frame, right? Because again, I love my kids and I just want to be the best father I can be for them. And I'm going to make a lot of mistakes as a father, but I'm going to learn from them and be better the next day because of it. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm telling you, I'm the standard of any man in my daughter's lives. And because of that, I refuse to do anything or be any example that they cannot benefit from. You know, it can come down to the small. Look, my kids can't even my daughters can't even take their shirt off in front of me without me being like, hey, go to the bathroom. Like, hey, go leave, get her out. You gotta go. I give them that privacy altogether. My kids, my daughters know, and they will tell you. If anybody ever say, they will tell you that daddy don't even play those games. Something going on. Hold on, let me call mommy to come over here and look at all of this because mommy will do all the look at it. Mommy's around, so mommy can do it. If not, we're gonna go to the doctor. let the doctor do it. But I give them that privacy so that way they know if my own father would not do it, why in the hell would any other man be able to do something like that? Simple, at least to me. But again, that's just how it is for the daughters. We have to be very careful as fathers to make sure that our daughters have a good example to go off of because we don't want our daughters. Everybody always say, would you want your daughter dating a man like you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I know that man's gonna take care of my daughter. I know he's gonna love her. He's gonna give her all the love he can. He's gonna try as much as he can, try as hard as he can. I know that man is family oriented and he wants a family structured, and that's about it. That's exactly what I know. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. I'm not one of those dudes you're gonna walk up to and I'm gonna second guess it. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat. Yes, I would. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I say that because as men, we have to set that standard across the board. We have to do better and be better, right? To be better fathers, better examples, better foundations. Now let's have a real conversation. Another real conversation. Many fathers are struggling. I know y'all struggling. I know, because I'm there too sometimes. Whether it's depression, anxiety, stress, trauma, burnout, burnout, financial pressure, relationship pressure, no matter what it is. Because society tells men, man up, chin up, chest out. Figure it out. What you complaining for? Don't complain. You ain't got no time to complain. You shouldn't be complaining about nothing. But unhealthy fathers struggle to create healthy environments, right? Why do I say it like that? Because this is why healing matters. Therapy matters. Accountability matters. Emotional awareness matters, right? A healed father can break generational curses. An emotional, healthy father changes bloodlines, right? Sometimes the strongest thing a father can do isn't be tough. Sometimes it's just saying, I need help, right? Why do I say that? As a father, as a man, I've always grown up thinking that I can't ask for help. That's weak. What am I asking for help for? I better go figure it out and find out what it is I need to do. Help? I ain't helping nothing. I ain't getting no help from nowhere. And then I slowly started to realize that my pride set me back so much because I didn't want to ask for help. And there were people willing to help me, people willing to give me a leg up, and I just turned the other cheek. That wasn't smart, but that was the unhealthy version of me. I didn't know that reaching out for assistance is okay. I didn't realize that some people can pull a ladder down for you to climb up. I didn't realize that some people do have advice that you can let go in one ear and not go out the other. I didn't realize that. I didn't think that was even possible. I just didn't. I just figured I had to kind of figure it all out. So that's a good point to make, because again, growing up, I was that kind of man where I didn't think that that was even possible or necessary. I didn't think that saying I needed help was something that I should be even voicing out loud. I thought that me telling people that I need help is something to me saying, "Oh, you weak. You can't do this alone. You can't be a man. You can't be a father. You can't even get this done. You can't even figure this out." In all reality, it would be people saying, "Oh, you need some help? You need some assistance? Where are you stuck at? What you need help with? What have you done so far? What research have you looked into?" I'm telling you, people have shown me sides of myself that even I probably didn't know that I really had. And I say that in a way of like, I didn't know that certain things were even possible for me. You know, up until about a year and a half ago, I didn't even think I'd be able to lead a country. And I went to London, had a really good time. And it was great. You know what I mean? I didn't think that that was possible. I didn't think that that was really a thing that can really happen for me until it happened. So now I'm looking at life and I'm saying, hey, those things that you thought weren't possible are possible. Things you thought were out of reach were closer than you think. And things you thought you could never even accomplish are things you're on your way to doing. So I'm 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 happy to be here as a father to put that kind of confidence in my children, that kind of reassurance in them, uh, that I didn't have growing up. You know, I didn't have that growing up, and again, I'm just happy that I can I can weed out the, what do you want to call them? I can kind of weed out the flaws and insecurities I had growing up and play off of them in fatherhood to help my children be better people altogether. I keep telling my kids that they're gonna be better than me, and I want them to be better than me. And they be like, why? And I tell them the same thing. I am the only person. Tell my boys, I'm probably the only man in the world, and then tell my girls, I'm probably the only person in the world that wants you to do better than them, because you need to. I'm not raising you to be like me or less than me. I'm raising you to be better than me and above me. That's the goal. All day, every day. That's the goal. I have no ifs, ands, or buts about that. None whatsoever. Um, so to every father listening, right? Your children may never fully understand your sacrifices. Not right now. One day they will. One day they'll realize why you work those long hours, why you miss sleep, why you carry the weight, why you keep showing up. One day they'll understand that the rides matter, the conversations matter, the discipline matters, the encouragement matters, the hugs matter, the example matters. You are the example. The presence matters, because years from now, your children probably won't remember every toy that you got them. They will not remember every single gift that you gave them, every video game that you let them play, but they will remember whether or not dad was there. I kid you not. They will remember that through thick and thin. They will remember if you were there or not, regardless of what's going on. Anybody, and I mean anybody, can help create a child, right? But it takes a father to help shape the adult that the child becomes. And while fathers may never be perfect, a present father can change generations. I want y'all to love each other, heal each other, support each other. And if you're blessed enough to still have your children in your life, don't just provide for them, right? Be present for them. Be very, very present for them. If you cannot be present, there's just no excuse. You have to be present. You have to be there. You have to be involved. My children drive every little thing I do. People say, why do you work so hard? No, I don't want to work hard. No, I don't want to work so many hours. Yes, I'm tired and I'm exhausted. I am. But my kids depend on me. My kids need me. They will thrive. I will do all of this hard work, all the leg work that I can up until, they don't need me to anymore. But I kid you not, day in and day out when it comes to my kids, I'm probably going to do any and everything that I need to do for them. Everyone keeps saying, oh, you haven't had a day off, you haven't had a day to rest, maybe you leave the kids with mom and you'll be okay. And although that may seem feasible and that may seem reasonable, I have a hard time not answering the phone when my kids call. I do. I have a very hard time with that. I feel like if my kids call, I'm going to show up. I'm going to go get them. I'm going to pick them up, whatever the case may be, because they want to see me. They want to spend time with me. So I'm going to go every single time. I'm a firm believer in that phrase and statement that if you get off of work and it's late and your kids are up, play with your kids even though you're tired. Even though you're tired, play with them, because you don't know how long they've been waiting on you to get home. You don't know how long they've been waiting on you to get home. So I, for one, I actually believe that. So if I could have worked a 24, 36 hours straight and ain't had a lick of sleep a week straight, it don't matter. But if I walk through them doors and my kids is jumping up wanting to play, I'm going to give them at least an hour or two. Hey, I'm going to find it somewhere deep in my spirit, deep in my soul. I'm going to find the energy to give them because they deserve it. It's not fair to me to make them feel like, hey, I'm tired, so I'm going to go to sleep. I ain't going to play with you. Like, you don't matter right now because I'm tired. Hey, look, I'll get some sleep one way or another, Besides, your kids are going to grow up one day, and they're not going to want to play with you. They're not going to want to spend time with you. They're going to be their own people and do their own thing. So ultimately, you got to kind of, get it while you can. Live in it while you can. Don't wait too late to be a parent, because then they're going to wait and just look at you as a friend, as the homie. That's what they're going to say. See, that's just a homie. Don't worry about him. He ain't going to say nothing. We're not going to get in trouble. Oh, you want to go to my dad's house? Yeah, my dad, my friend. We can do it at my dad's house. My kids may be able to have fun, enjoy themselves. When my kids are here, if they making a mess, being loud, running amok, I let them do them. As long as they're not being destructive, they're not fighting, they're not being aggressive, they're not being violent. I do keep an eye on them, of course. Whether I peek my head in the room or I check the camera every once in a while, I do keep an eye on them. But I let them be kids. I let them be free and have fun and enjoy themselves because they kids. It is what it is. But that's also because my kids will, if it's time when they're done playing, I don't have to say it a million times to clean up. I don't have to remind them that the dishes in the sink that need to be cleaned. I don't have to remind them about all of that stuff. They just get to it and do it. They do what they have to do. They're respectful. They listen. They learn. They pick up after themselves. They clean up after themselves. They clean up their room. They clean up their bathroom. They help me with the kitchen. Like, my kids are very respectful. So when they are here, I'm not going to bother them when they're doing what they should be doing. I'm not going to bother them at all. I'm going to let it be and call it a day. Simple as that. Simple as that. But all in all, I say that to say that our children are the next generation. We have to do what we can to be there for them, okay? To be the best parents and fathers we can be. I'm telling you right now, it don't matter if you've been gone for 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 1 month, get back into them babies' lives and be the best father you can be. That's all I can say. Start making up time from here on out. Don't worry about what you missed. Worry about what you're going to make up for. Simple as that, okay? All right. Now, again, this is your boy, Juss Quanni. This has been Talk is Cheap on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. I'll catch y'all again next time on the hottest radio station. Until then, peace, love, and hair grease. I'll catch y'all next week.